Now, you've been nice enough to let us over here at Fox double dip in that you are going to go from this interview right over to Flippin' Bats with Ben Verlander and talk some baseball and soccer for that matter, and this wonderful synergy that we have. When you look at the landscape of soccer and baseball in the United States, one of the things, as you know, in the soccer world that we talk a lot about is growing the game and getting as many young players playing it as possible, whether they become professionals or not. How do you see some of the similarities and the differences and maybe some of the challenges with both sports going forward? Obviously, baseball, an established American pastime, and soccer kind of this nouveau riche type of thing that has come to the fore of late.
I just think because of the history and how long baseball has had its infrastructure in place, the high level of the technical aspect and the coaching, it's a little bit more accessible right now. Obviously, soccer is a bigger sport in the worldwide aspect and how accessible and easy it is to play the actual game. But you would know more than me in this area. As a rookie still in the soccer realm, my instinct is telling me that as far as the technical aspect goes, I think within North America, there's still some ground to be made up. And the fact that we have platforms such as this one with the USL, that we can have an academy team, we can reach the local youth soccer organizations. Now I have, I guess, a way to be able to influence that in a way in hiring, those high caliber technical coaches that will raise the level of the game from the bottom up.
One of the similarities between the two sports, I think, is the international aspect of it. And, you were a player and you represented your country, and we talked about the Olympics, and it's whether it's baseball or soccer or any place, getting up there and wearing that shirt and singing the anthem and doing all the different things. It's such an important component of sports in general, but certainly of baseball. And we see, how the World Baseball Classic has evolved and going forward. Do you see the international component and the international rivalries and the pride that comes along with all of that continuing to be more important when it comes to both baseball and soccer, for that matter, going forward?
Yeah, I think, baseball has a lot to learn from soccer in that aspect, and the fact that it can become more of a global sport. And it has done a lot of great things in the last few years. It's just become a focus, I would say, I guess, in the last 15 or 20 years. But there's still room to grow. And that's part of the appetizing thing about baseball. It hasn't reached that peak. Soccer is obviously way more global. So domestically, it can still make some ground. So both sports can learn from each other, and I think they both have room for growth. And they're both great representation of, great sports that will, allow kids a chance and a path to access different things, whether it's education or a path to professionalism, and just be able to lead healthy lifestyles within their life and also make great impact to the local communities.
All right, a couple questions before I let you go here. When it comes to your soccer background, for example, did you grow up watching players? Are there heroes that you have? I know I've seen pictures of you with Messi. So give us a little bit more about your soccer upbringing and your soccer background and your soccer connections.
So unfortunately, as a kid, when I was growing up, soccer wasn't the most accessible. We were known for baseball. So that's why I became a baseball player. But I used to play around with a couple of kids at school and around my neighborhood when the World Cups would come around. Who wouldn't follow the World Cups and get a ball and start playing games? All of a sudden, you felt like you were one of the top stars when the World Cup used to come around. And then after just becoming more of a fan of the Spanish League and the EPL over the years, and learning that my dad's side of my family was from a small town in Barcelona, I couldn't help it but to follow FC Barcelona closer and fall in love with guys like Messi and Neymar and others. So that's kind of like how I got exposed to soccer early on.
All right, look, you're a soccer guy. Last question for you. Give me one thing in baseball, if I just made you king for a day, that you would change either on or off the field. And then give me one thing in soccer that you would change on or off the field.
Yeah, that's a tough one. In baseball, as far as MLB, I would probably make the season a little bit shorter. It sounds crazy, and baseball takes pride in having the longest season in all sports, and I love it as well. but I would shorten it up to what it used to be, maybe more around 140 games, and then add another full round of the playoffs. I would love to see that format. And then in soccer, man, it's also hard to come up with something here on the fly, but I've really loved the VAR. I know in some leagues it hasn't been fully implemented. It just gets the call right, and I think it cleans up a lot of the subjective stuff that happens sometimes with human beings who end up being the refs. So VAR is something that I hope continues to get adoption all across the globe.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.